If you are manually filling out your invoices, you are wasting valuable time on something that can be fully automated. But before I show you how to automate this process, let's first take a look at the end result. So this system works in two different ways. You can either fill out fields like this one if you want to generate a single invoice, or you can upload a CSV file if you want to invoice several clients at the same time, which is going to be the thing that I'm going to demonstrate right now. So the moment I upload the file and I press submit, all the invoices will be generated automatically and sent to my client. Let's take a look at the Google Drive. These are 3 invoices that I have created. I will double click on it and all the data is being populated automatically. If we go to my email inbox, we will find the same invoice being sent here. And as you can see, it is the exact invoice that we have generated and uploaded to Google Drive being sent to this email address. Now that we have seen how this system works, let's start building it together. So the first trigger will be an AN form, but you definitely can use whatever form you prefer, whether it is Tally, Typeform, or other form service. So I will search for an AN form and you want to choose on new an AN form event. I will name it something like invoice automation, and then you click on add form elements to include the fields that you need in case you want to generate single PDF every input. If you are looking to create bulk invoice PDF files and send them to your clients, then you don't need this fields. All you need is file upload. I will go through both options so you can choose which one works best for you. Okay, let's start with full name and go over the rest, then continue from there. Okay, I have created all the fields I want, and they are all element type as text input, except for the file upload, which is file. Okay, the next node we will need is if else, and this if else is primarily to check whether the form submission includes a CSV file or not. If you are always uploading a file into the form and you are not manually creating the invoices, then you definitely don't need if else node. The same applies to if you are always filling out the form manually to create the invoice and you never upload the file on it. Also, you don't need if else node, but I'm going to include if else node in case you want a system that works with both for single invoice generation and bulk invoice generation. Okay, first let's execute the workflow to get all the variables from the form so we can work with moving forward. So execute the workflow. Let's do this, test, and choose the file, submit. No, let's pin this one. So we keep using the data from the form without having to trigger the form over and over again. Okay, let's search for if else node, switch this one to expression, Boolean is true, and you want to type in this expression. This test here is the name of the field where I am uploading files into the form. So if you have named it something else, that exact name should be written here. So in my case, since it is test, I have typed in test. So right now, if the form submission includes the file, it will go for true path. If it doesn't include the file, it will go for the false path. Let's execute this one and you will see item true. Next, you want to click on the plus near the true and search for extract from file. And in my case, since I'm always uploading CSV files, I'm going to choose CSV. But if you are uploading Excel file, for example, then you should choose that file. So in my case, it is CSV. And you want to swap this data with the name of the field you are using to upload files into. In my case, it is test, so I'm going to use test. Okay, if we execute this again, you will see it has 3 items, and this is the information we have seen previously. The next node we will need is edit fields, and this one is optional. It is only for those who are using the form submission to create single invoices as well as bulk invoice creation. So let's search for edit fields. And here you want to create all the fields that you are capturing from your form as well as from the CSV file. For example, the full name, email address, and so on. We want to create a fallback expression. This means that this field will be checking whether the full name exists on the CSV file. If it doesn't exist on the CSV file, it will go and check on the form submission. This way you are sure that you are capturing both ways. So let's type in full name. And you want to turn this one into expression and use this one. So bring here full name, and we want to bring from if else full name as well. Okay, now we have all the fields mapped on edit node. So now it will check for the full name if it exists on the file. If it doesn't exist, it will go and extract it from the if else node, because it will either come from one side or from the other side. It will not be coming from both sides. But before we move forward, we need another field, and let's call it current date. Turn this one into expression, $symbol now dot format. We'll do this. Let's do month. day, year. Okay. Let's connect this one here and move with the next node. And the next node we'll need is loop over items, and it is for those who are uploading the CSV file. We want to go through the records one by one rather than going all together, because this can overwhelm the APIs of the tools that we'll be using. Okay, so we want to get this one here, delete this one, and loop HTTP request, and it is for the tool that we'll be using, which is DocSpring, which will allow us to create PDFs automatically. So, okay, go to DocSpring. Once you create an account, you will land on the dashboard like this one. So create a template. Yes, I am filling out an existing PDF form. And you want to upload a blank invoice so you can map it automatically. I'm going to choose this one. Okay, now I have uploaded the invoice template I have, and as you can see, invoice number, issue date, due date, they are all empty because these fields are going to be filled automatically. Okay, let's start now creating the fields, and you want to click like this, and you want to name it whatever you want. For example, for this one, it is called invoice number, and you can't leave space like this one. You want underscore in between, so invoice number. I'm going to uncheck required, because if you leave it required and you do not fill this field, the invoice will not be created and the workflow will return error. Okay, let's do the same thing for this one, issue date, and we want to name it issue date as well. Okay, I will go over the rest of the fields and then I will explain a few things. Okay, now that I have created all the fields I need, there are a few things that I would like to highlight. The first thing is that I have kept all the fields that I've created as string, but you definitely can switch to whatever you want, like number, boolean, date, whatever. But even if you set them as string, you can easily display numbers on them. Also, for the fields where you want to input like long paragraphs, I highly recommend you go and scroll down until you find multi-line, then you want to check this one. Otherwise, the output text will not really look beautiful. Then whenever you want to publish this template, you simply click on the draft and publish version. There's another thing that I would like you to do before we jump to the next step is go over settings, and you want to check this one, allow additional properties in JSON data. Okay, the next step is connecting DocSpring to NAN. So you want to click on your profile picture here, go to API tokens, then create new API key. Okay, there is an important note that I would like to highlight. DocSpring allows you to create two types of API key. You have the test API key and you have the production API key. The test API key allows you to create unlimited PDF files. In exchange, it will input a watermark on those PDF files, but it will not burn your credit. So we definitely want to start with this one until you know that your invoice is the way you want it to be. Then you switch to production API key. So I'm going to start with this API key. So create API token, name it like NAN test, and you want to check this test token and create. Okay, you want first to copy the API token ID, go back to NAN, double click on HTTP request. Okay, let's switch this one to post. Then you want to get this one to generic credential type, basic authentication. I already have DocSpring, but I'm going to show you quickly. You want to pass in here the test API, then go back to DocSpring, copy the API token secret, go back to NAN, pass this one here, save. Then you want to pass this URL here and replace template ID with the template ID you have created. So we go back to DocSpring, go back to templates. You will have your template here. Simply click on the three dot, copy ID to clipboard, go back to NN and replace this template ID with the actual ID you have just copied. Then you want to click on send headers and content type application JSON. That's it. Check send body, and let's switch this one to using JSON. We want to deactivate this one and run the workflow again to get all the variables we need. Let's activate it again, expand this one like this, and you want to use test true, and data is where we are going to connect our variables that we are pulling from the form or the CSV to the variables that we have created on DocSpring. Your JSON formatting will look something like this. This test is necessary. Basically, it is telling that we are actually using the test API from DocSpring. Then you want the data on this side, invoice number, issue date, due date are the fields that we have mapped on DocSpring. And these ones on the right side are the ones that we are bringing in from edit fields in our case. Real quick, if you want me to help you implement this automation or need help with any NAN workflow, you can reach out to me using the first link on the description below. Back to the video. Okay, it was executed properly. Next, we want to search for the wait node and do 10 seconds. The reason why I have a wait node here is because the next node I will need is another API called DocSpring. But the issue is that when I do one after the other, I got an error. That's because I was calling their API key twice at the same time. So that's the reason why I have added 10 seconds between these two calls. So next, search for HTTP request again. This time you want to leave the method to get, and the URL you want to use this one. Then expand this one, and let's get the value from PDF generator node ID and bring it here. Then you want to select the authentication generic credential type, go for basic authentication, and then select DocSpring basic authentication that you have created earlier. Then enable send headers, contents type, and again type in application JSON, and that's it. Now let's execute the workflow in order to get the variables from this node. Okay, now we have the variables from this node, and let's pin this one as well and search for HTTP request. And this time we are going to download the file that we have got from the PDF ID node that we have just created. Okay, so method get, and the URL will be this one, download URL. And then you want to scroll, add option, response, file, and leave it, put output in field as data. Then let's name this one something like download invoice, I don't know, whatever you want. I'm going to deactivate the wait, and let's see. Okay, everything is working just fine. Now the next step is optional. Basically, earlier on the demo I've shown Google Drive and email. This means like I was extracting the file from download Invoice and I was sending it to Google Drive as well as sending it to clients via email. You can do the same thing, as well as you can send it to Slack, for example, channel, if you want a human to review it, or whatever channel you prefer. So I'm going to replicate the same thing that I have done on the demo. So I will click on the plus, search for Google Drive, upload the file, and for the file name I will do something like this, invoice for, then it will be full name of that person. So edit fields, bring in here full name, make sure there is only one space, and for the parent folder it is where you are going to store your invoices. So I have one named PDF files. Okay, next we want another node, but this time for email, send email. For the two, you want to get this one from here, from edit fields, we have email address. For the subject, I will name it something like just invoice. I switch this one to text, expand this one, and we'll have something like this. I've generated this copy with ChatGPT, and for the hi, we want to do something like hi first name. So in my case, I have the entire full name, so I need an expression to extract just the first name, and this expression will be as follow. And then I want to bring in from edit fields the full name. Then you want to come to add option, attachment, and leave it to data. Then again, add option, append NaN attribution, and you want to disable this one. Otherwise, every time you send an email from NaN, there will be link at the bottom of your email saying something like this email was sent by NaN or something like this. So you want to disable this one. But you do not want this email to be attached to upload file, but rather to be attached to download invoice. Otherwise, you will not be able to extract the invoice from the download node. Then click on the plus, search for merge to, you want to connect this one here, then connect the merge into loop over items, and let's execute again the workflow, but this time we will do it from the start till the end. Okay, so execute the workflow. I'm going to choose files, upload the file with 3 records, then submit. This time the invoices that will be created will be with watermark. Okay, so the workflow has finished running. Let's first take a look at Google Drive. And as you can see, we have three new invoices. These ones are watermarked because, as mentioned earlier, we have used the test API key, and we have all the invoice, issue date, due date, and so on. All the information that we have mapped on our DocSpring are all present here. If we take a look at my email inbox and check the email, so hey John, which is the first name I have used earlier, please find the invoice attached below. And if we click on it, it is the same invoice that we have generated being sent via email as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to drop a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you have any questions about this workflow or NaN in general, you can comment below and I will try to respond to you as soon as I can. Other than that, see you on the next video.